Hi guys, Anne in Paris, still in Paris, and thank God for that. Look guys, I'm still waking up, okay? So I don't know how much sense I'm going to make, but I'm hoping to make a lot of sense here. This morning I want to talk about World War II and the currency of the EU, which is child sex trafficking. They murdered Daphne Caruana Galizia for this because she was about to expose it. It's an enormous problem, and Daphne Caruana Galizia, God bless her soul now, was an anti-corruption publicist, investigative reporter. Excuse me, not a publicist. I'm a publicist. Publicist can be unqualified as well. She was qualified. She was an anti-corruption investigative reporter, dubbed the most fearless. Publicists are also whistleblowers. She wasn't a publicist. So I just want to be clear on this, she was qualified and she knew what she was doing, and she stumbled over the child sex trafficking crimes. She also figured out that government officials are key profiteers here, politicians and people running the European Union. Now, had she have had the opportunity to expose that, it would have broken down the European Union, the EU. The UK were also involved. She was communicating with them. And shortly after, she was murdered in a car bomb disgrace. And the amount of explosives that they put in that car, it wasn't just to murder her, because they didn't need that much. It was to give a very clear message for people to close their mouths. Now, her last statement, my apologies to her family that I have to mention her. We try not to mention the dead where I come from, Australia. My mother and father always taught me to pray for them. But I need to mention her because this is why they murdered her, and this is what I'm investigating. I'm not a qualified investigator. I'm not a police officer. I'm an anti-corruption publicist and a whistleblower. You can do this being unqualified as long as you've got the truth on your side. You don't need evidence as a whistleblower to speak the truth, but you have to speak the truth. So this is my position here. I need to be very, very clear on that. I am not a qualified anti-corruption publicist like she was. I don't have the degree to support that. Now, her last statement before she died was, there are crooks everywhere you look. The situation is desperate. Can someone please tell me how this situation, or what she died for rather, to this day has not been exposed, and yet everybody knows about it? There are people in Malta who know the real reason that she was murdered and are saying nothing. There are people in Germany, the head of the EU, who know the real reason she was murdered and are saying nothing. France is the head office of the child sex trafficking crimes. Let's be very clear on that. Germany, the head of the EU, and they're doing this through the EU Council, there's too much silence and no transparency, have set up France to be the head office of all 27 EU member states for the child sex trafficking crimes, because the tourism is here and that's where they're getting their merchandise from. These are all accusations, but they are also based on the truth. Now, whistleblowers can speak it, and I'm speaking it. If anyone has any information, come forward. There are ways you can speak without being exposed if you're afraid for your safety. Come forward. The death toll is at epidemic proportions, guys. These little girls are not living to see their 6th birthday. If you guys can see the tears in their eyes that is on the streets on a daily basis, if you can see, if we can count the death toll, the dead bodies buried 6 feet under in cement in these local construction sites, this is how they're paying for those construction sites. Guys, these construction sites belong to Louis Vuitton and Hermes, guys. They're big names. You can't contend with these names in front of the camera. And Chanel films pornography with sex traffic victims who are accused of prostitution. Their consent is removed with heroin injections for key profiteers. Now, I'm pushing for the European Union to ban pornography. If they can close my internet down when I'm using it only for posts to raise awareness to the problem, they can also close it to ban pornography. And they can stop key profiteers right there. These women are not prostitutes. They've lost their kids. They've been traumatised. Their consent is removed with heroin injections for key profiteers. The children are being raped in five-star hotels, trafficked in a line-up to pedophiles for the high-end market. Key clients are government officials. Australia, America, the UK, France and Germany, and Belgium now as well. I'm watching this disgrace every day. Without swearing, I nearly swore. Without swearing, I'll say it again. I'm watching this disgrace every day. Now, there is hope. The hope that I've got to be heard is the prosecutor of the International Criminal Courts, Karim Khan. I'm urging an appointment with him. I can't move from here. I'm pushing a trolley that weighs half a horse. 2 trolleys, actually, jam-packed with evidence of child sex trafficking. I have made a request to Macron's office to open the double blue doors at number 7, next to number 9, which is the Ministry of Interior. Number 9 is the Ministry of Interior. Number 7 is not part of that building. It is just a room that houses rubbish bins. Rubbish bins don't need a roof over their heads. I'm urging Macron to open those doors and give me the ownership of that little room so I can start my work in exposing this problem. I haven't found anyone on the streets yet that has the balls to open their mouths. The last one died in a car bomb disgrace. Daphne Caruana Galizia. How have we become desensitized to this mess? Now, at the head of the game, and these are all accusations, because I don't have the evidence to support it, because I barely have the technology to do this, let alone the support from government officials who are not only key clients but key profiteers involved in this mess. So bear with me. You guys have to open your mouth. Something has to happen. At the head of this crime syndicate is the European Union, and they control 27 EU member states, which is dangerous. The Catholic Church, sorry to the Catholic Church, I am Catholic, and America, the World Bank. And this is governing the child sex trafficking crimes and organising it in Europe. Cross-border trafficking to New York. Now, we've got the Olympics coming up in California. Guys, UCLA need to be under the spotlight. Tell Chanel that pornography is not currency, and tell her to pay for her own merchandise, and tell her to pay for her own runway models. I'm going to pass these as accusations unfounded because I'm not a lawyer and I don't have the technology to produce the evidence to support these accusations. So I will take these as accusations unfounded. From a whistleblower who has watched these people commit their crimes on the streets for years and not heard. I am not yet heard. The media are told what to expose. They take millions of subsidies from the European Union every year. This is the perfect disgrace. Guys, if you see something, say something, please. Because one day it might just be you and your family. They're targeting blonde hair, blue eyes, because they sell for top dollar at the hands of pedophiles. Black people don't sell, they're using them as traffickers. They shouldn't be touching them. They come here from third world countries for a second chance. They should not be recruiting them into this crime for currency. They're using Muslims as well. They're hiding their crimes behind the minorities. This is against God. This is not religion. It's not even culture, it's crime. And this is how they're keeping their reputations intact. I will not be silenced. I will not live in fear. I will never surrender. And by the power of God, I will win. You can do whatever you want with this information. I will win. I'm speaking the truth. Thank you, everybody.